No, I don't.
There he is.
Where?
Well,
Which one is
he
Larry?
says host me right there.
No, that's this one.
Oh.
We're on.
Oh, okay.
Here he is.
I think there's only 3 people right
Hi, Tom.
Hi. Oh,
now. Hi, Larry.
Hi.
you ended up being host.
Dang it.
Hang on a minute. Let me see if I
I didn't
can.
even sign in. They just asked me for my name.
Let me try something here.
Let me,
Oops. Mary Leah. Okay.
I can make you host, Tom.
Oh, okay. Well, or yeah, make Mary Leah host.
Oh, okay. I'll
I
make Mary
do
Leah host.
co-host on the other one.
Okay. Make host.
And then you can make me co-host on mine, and I will let everybody in.
Okay.
Okay.
I lost you.
I just moved. Let me get this one going.
Well, no, I'm just trying to, I can't make you co-host, it looks like.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Doesn't give me that option.
Well, what is this thing doing then? Okay. Tom face me. No, I don't need to be renamed. Mary Lee is the host. And Larry. We'll just wing it.
Okay.
Oh, and there's 13 people. Can you see that?
There's 13 people. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I can now make me co-host. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, we're set.
Well,
I don't answer spam.
No, I got one of those too.
Okay.
so everybody's here. We ready to get started?
Can everybody unmute, please?
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
One of the things I wanted to do today is just to, this is Larry from the Rover Art Center. I'm the director here, and I wanted to welcome everybody to our free drawing class. One of the things that I wanted to just kind of let everybody know about is that we kind of strive to be a community leader through offering these free classes. The problem has become with the cost of doing these classes that they may have to disappear because we're not getting enough funding from donations and people helping us out to pay for the classes that you're seeing on a weekly basis. So I'm kind of reaching out to everybody for all these free classes, that if you have a chance, it's really important, if you like these classes, that you donate what you can. We have a Give to the Max coming up in a couple of weeks where you can donate also. But if you donate directly through the internet, we get more of the money. It costs us about $150 to do each one of these free classes. And what we want to do is we want to continue these because it seems like people really enjoy them. So if you're enjoying these classes going forward, I just want to kind of let everybody know, if you can give us some help, that way we can continue with these classes moving forward into the future. And I know that you guys enjoy seeing Mary Leah and Tom helping out with those classes, but I wanted to kind of give you a pitch that we need your help to continue with these classes. And I'm going to throw it back over to Mary Leah and Tom.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say I've helped out with classes too.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I know that, Patricia. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, hello. I have to bend down, we have to fix the camera. Yeah, so thank you guys all so much for coming today. We're really excited to be able to be here, Tom and I, in the art studio on this sort of rainy, snowy afternoon. So what better thing to do than to sit and draw together. So I'm excited. I'm gonna take you through step by step a landscape drawing. We'll get things organized a bit, and then we'll move on to the shading and the details. So the things that I'm going to be showing you are going to be right in front of me, so you'll be able to follow along. Some of you have taken the watercolor before, and I know I want to paint this, but it's good to draw too. So I love to draw. So thank you guys all for coming, and welcome. So we'll just put the camera over so that we can see overhead, and we'll get started. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Tom. Okay, so I just want to briefly talk about materials. I have a nice piece of drawing paper here that I'm using. I often use my Strathmore sketch pad. Canson's another good one. I like to use my HB pencil. I think of HB as sort of a middle of the road pencil. I can do a lot with it. So that's the one that I have today. Now, if you have a softer pencil, you would be using a B pencil. If you want to do some like shading, but this will certainly work well for our purposes today. I also have a kneaded eraser. I like this. It's kind of messy right now, but they come in a little rectangle that's got plastic on it, and they are great to use. So just so you know, that's what I've got. And then this is my image that I've drawn. And I do want to talk just a little bit. I'm going to move this over here. Talk a little bit about when we set up for a drawing, just like when we set up for a painting, we're thinking about our layout. So one of the things we would start with is, am I going to be working horizontally or vertically? I also want to think about where my horizon line is. So this painting, but you could break it down, and of course, into a drawing, which was a drawing first, right? So the horizon line is very high. We're just seeing a little slice of the sky. And actually, this composition moves through here, bringing you back to this area here, I would say. Pretty much this little clump of buildings, which I think is really cool. Another example that I have here is a high horizon, excuse me, a low horizon with lots of sky. So the artist that made this painting was really interested in the sky, and you know, we've got these beautiful hills in the distance, and it also is sort of creating movement through this piece that guides you to the sky. So you want to think about that a little bit when you're setting up your drawing. And I also wanted to briefly talk about cropping, because oftentimes, and I do this with students a lot, because often we might have a painting or a photograph that we're looking at, and there's so much going on that we might need to simplify it just a bit. So we can always use a little piece of mat board to simplify the photograph so that maybe it's not quite so complicated. So you can kind of think about that. Here's a low horizon here. And you can play around with that with lots of different photographs that you might have as you're looking at your subject matter. You know, oftentimes we take our photographs and with our cameras, and it's like a lot of information. And so it's always good to think about cropping. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So what we're going to be doing is starting with our paper and just organizing it first. So I've already drawn this, and I'm going to go over it with a marker so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then I have another one drawn, and that's the one we'll do the shading on. Y'all with me? So get your paper ready, and if you do have something that you can trace, a little frame, or if not, you can just draw it freehand. Okay, that's where I would start. So get that ready. You could find some rectangle to trace, or like I said, just sketch it out. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be setting this, this up. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this area right back here, and I'm going to start with this faraway hill, but it might be smarter just to start with the bigger one. So here's my bigger hill, okay? And you can follow along if you want to. You can change yours up. It does not have to be just like mine. Okay, so that's the line that I'm drawing first. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to do a hill that's farther in the distance. Okay. And then I've got another one here. Actually, the ones that I did turned out a little bit different, but that's okay. Okay, so I have two far in the distance. This one is the bigger one, and then this one is back over on this side, kind of popping through here. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is create some depth, and that will happen with my composition, and it will also happen because of the way that I shade this piece. The way that I shade it. I'm going to make another hill here, and then, you with me? Okay, and then I'm having an area of land scooting across on the other side. This is going to be water, so just working my way along here. Okay, the trees will do last because they're going to be my darkest dark. Okay. All right, and this is the water is right in through here, so I'm scooting this line across here, and it could actually go off the page, and then I'm reconnecting it right about here, and I'm doing this curving motion that brings it across. So this is really what we call an S curve. So I do want to also mention that when I was sketching this out, I was doing exactly that. I was sketching. In other words, my marks that I made, I had to work at them for a little while with my pencil. I didn't just do these outline. I'm doing this for you guys, but here's another one that I made, and you can see, possibly see how sketchy it is. And I can always go back and erase. So I personally don't always get it the way that I want it the first go. So I need to be comfortable with the sketching process, which just means that I'm finding my way. And you might need to do that just like I do. So sketching is a good thing. I think of it as finding my way. I guess that's the best way to say it. All right. So the next line that I'm going to make, let me go back to my marker, is going to be this other piece of land here that's going to come down into the foreground. So we want to think about when we're doing a landscape, we have foreground, which is the things that are closest to me, or usually they're lower on the paper. The things that are far in the distance would be the background, and then the middle ground is right sort of in the middle. I also want to avoid the center of having my center of interest. I sort of want to avoid having it right in the center of the paper. I want to offset things a little bit. So this composition, it's working for me. It's got some flow through it, and that's how we'll work on this. Now, the trees that we'll add, I'm thinking that we would have some that are going to create distance, and so I could just lightly think about where they're going to be. But the one that's closer to me is here, so it's going to be a little fatter. And then they'll get smaller as they move into the distance. So that will be another way that we can create depth. Okay? And then my other idea was, if we have time, is to make another tree right about here. And that's my closest tree. So that would also be the biggest tree and the most detailed. Okay? So are you guys getting this sketched out? And you can certainly change it up. This does not have to be water. This could actually be some sort of an interesting path. That would be cool. And your trees could be pine trees. That would be fine as well, if you like to make pine trees. Okay? So maybe somebody, like maybe Lynn, could you give me a thumbs up so I know that some of you guys are ready? How about you, Patricia? Thumbs up. Rose, good to see you, Rose. And Cynthia, hi there. And I also see, I think it's Pratana there. That's nice. Cool, you guys. Okay, so the sketching part is pretty much done, and the organizing part. And I would just do this on a, when I'm outside, I like to sketch, and it's fun to get these set up. I do want to switch over just a minute to show you. Okay, does anybody recognize who the artist is here because of the marks? I think Lynn knows. This is actually Van Gogh, and I found this. I was so excited to find it. Yeah, good. Yeah, somebody knew that. Awesome. So because of the way that he organized his composition, the way that he organized the shapes, which actually that's what a composition is you're really a shape maker when you're making a painting or a drawing. But I look at the expressive quality of his line work, and you think everything has to always be all perfect and smooth, but look at the beautiful work that he's done here with the line work. And creating the movement and the swirliness of it. I just love it. So you can do that when you're drawing. You don't have to, there's so many different ways you can work. This is another one that I really like. I'll cover that up a little bit here. This is a piece by one of my favorite artists named Kathy Johnson. And what I like about this, and one thing I wanted to show you, is the way she's used value to help create depth in this painting. So, and her marks that she's making in the background particularly are really vertical marks. She's sketching and she's adjusting the value as she does it. Okay, another interesting thing here is the way that this tree, for instance, the leaves are lighter on this tree, so that she has surrounded this with darker value, so that we see the light of the tree. And then there's probably some little birches or something in here, and those are accomplished by working around into the negative space to make those pop out. So something as simple as that. But again, you can really see the line work that she's done here. And she might be using the side of her pencil, which you can certainly do. So, you know, we think about the pencil sideways working to shade, right? We can think about value, which is a change from light to dark. So, you know, you can be working on the tip of your pencil to create your different values. But you're just going to get lighter, and you can get really soft and light, and you can really press hard and change the value. You could do the same thing with the side of your pencil, right? Okay, and you guys all know that. This is just a repeat, you know, refresher. Your marks can go vertically, they can go sideways, they can go any way you want, right? You can also shade in an area and then later go back in and add some details. So when you do that, it's called setting a ground. Right, I'm glad I remembered that. Okay, so let's move on to shading our work. And does anybody have a question or an idea? All right.
They're all set.
Okay.
Oh, you don't need water today.
No, I don't need water.
I'll go dump these so they don't get.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move this unless you guys still need to look at it. I'll just go back to my other sketch that I did. Okay, so now I'm thinking about shading this. And I'm just using my number 2 pencil. I also, sometimes I have this nice blending tool that these come in all different sizes and they're great. You can use these to blend if you want to. So those are, I might use that as well. Okay, so I kind of like to work from my lightest to my darks, but then I also mix it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with the hills in the distance, because I know that they would be the lightest value. Not, well, actually the sky is going to be the lightest value, but as far as the landscape goes, these hills are going to be my lightest light. So I'm just going to start working in here and shade these in with the farthest ones my lightest light. So you can use the side of your pencil, or you can just use it that way. You can always blend it. So I'm doing these very lightly because, again, we're talking about aerial perspective, and that just means that things in the distance are lighter. They are less detailed, right? Okay, so I can also crosshatch if I want to get a little more texture on this. So you just go ahead and work on that however you want and get that distant hill in. I'm going to do the same value on this one over here. And this also gives me the opportunity to change things if I need to change them up. And I like to use my eraser, so that'll help me. And then I'm going to blend these a little bit with my blending tool. I would, if you have one of these, I would just keep it for pencil use and maybe have a separate one for other materials that you might want to work with for blending. Okay, so there's my faraway hills. Okay, so I'm going to work now. Let's see, I'm going to get this one, actually this one right here, a little bit darker. Now, if these were snow-capped mountains, then I'm going to probably have to change up the way I do this, right? Leave it white. And here's where a softer pencil, like a B pencil, would come in handy if you had one. Not everybody has that. So that's kind of why I thought it would be good just to use the number 2 pencil and work on it that way. So this needs to be a bit darker. I don't know. It is a little bit
It's fussy.
fuzzy. I wonder if they're seeing it in a fuzzy way. I'm a lefty. You can see that that's the way it is. So. Well, you can leave the lines to let them be visible in your drawing. That's totally cool. Okay, so there's that.
There's nothing I can change to make that sharper.
That's okay. So I'm going to blend this just a tad bit here. If you don't have one of these, you could use a Kleenex. That'll work. So it's starting to get the feeling of distant hills. If you have to adjust, you could always get this darker, or you could always lighten this up a little bit too, if you need to, right? So I can just run my nice kneaded eraser over this if I need to get it lighter. No worries. Okay, now this hill here is going to be a bit darker. Okay, so I'm going to get this quite a bit darker here. I do this lesson a lot with my watercolor students, and we do it with, you know, with paint. A good thing. I've got my hand anchored on the paper, and that gives me a bit more control. Oftentimes when I'm just sketching something, I have a looser grip, I should say, on the pencil, but now I'm needing to anchor it a bit so that I can fill in these areas quickly. When you're outside and you're sketching with your sketch pad, you've got to be able to capture the landscape or whatever it is you're deciding to draw. You've got to be able to capture it pretty quickly, because you never know, it might rain or snow, right? So you got to get those values in quickly, and then you can always bring your sketch back to the studio or your kitchen table to work on it. Okay, so there we go. And I might leave a little more texture in this one because it's closer to me. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking about this area here, and I think what I'll do with this area here is do some line work that is kind of vertical, because this might be, it could just be some grasses. And you can make it however you want. You could even put some trees here if you want to. I have to turn it around a little bit. A lot of times I need to put a scrap paper, which I'm going to do, under my hand because I tend to smear things. So I put my paper like that a little bit so that I don't smear it too much. I would want to get it a little bit darker when it's closer to the edge of this river or this stream that I made, but I can always go back and do that once I get kind of a middle value in here. Just doing vertical lines here for this area here.
Karen Close has joined us.
Hi, Karen. So we're working along here, Karen. We've started a little sketch. I'll pull it back up again, and you can see what it is here. Okay. I'm sort of getting it a little bit darker here, right where the water's going to be, right in this area here. We'll look over here a little bit. Sometimes I jump around a little bit, like probably most people do when they're drawing. Let's pull this back up if Karen wants to see. That's what we've organized here. We don't have a double screen, do we?
No.
Okay. Maybe like that.
Sure.
That work a little bit
Get the gist of it.
for a minute. Okay, this is land over here. I'm going sideways this time. I'm changing it up. So remember, right now I'm using the side of my pencil, and I'm going to go back in here in a little bit and add some detail work. I'm just wanting to get this shaded in a bit before I do that. Starting to take shape a bit. Little path, piece of paper that was underneath there, so it made a mark. That's okay.
Do it.
Yeah. This area here is going to be, I think I'm going to go vertically with this. So this is going to be, my line work is vertical here. This could be some grass a little bit later that I add. But I'm wanting to fill this in, saving my lightest light, which is the sky. You can have texture when you shade. This is more of a sketch, and you can leave texture with your line work. Okay, so now you kind of have the feeling of a bit of grass happening here. Okay. Everybody doing okay?
Okay. Has Larry joined us again?
Larry's back.
Yep.
Hi, Larry. Okay. I'm really just filling these shapes in before I add my trees, because I know that the trees will be darker than the shapes that I'm filling in here. Like this down here. So don't be afraid to change up the way you hold your pencil. You'll get different marks that way. We talked about working on the side. You can hold your pencil this way. I don't know if you guys can see that, but hold your pencil sideways and make marks that way as well. And remember that when you're doing the different values, you're just adjusting the pressure. In other words, how hard you press with your pencil. Do the same thing with a colored pencil or a crayon, right? It's a matter of actually just the pressure.
Do you want to do a quick look and see the progression?
Yeah, you guys, that'd be a really good idea. So let's take a minute and you can show me how you're coming along. That'd be awesome if you choose to. And then we'll get our trees in.
Okay,
Do you have
that's
time?
looking good, yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, good, you guys.
Wow.
Wow. Rose, that's beautiful. I love your line work, everybody. Nice, Carissa. Susan, nice. Not seeing Anne. Grace, very nice. Anybody else? Okay. Tana, that's really nice. Awesome. I'm glad you joined us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Anybody else? Hi, Grace. You doing good?
Okay.
Okie dokie. So, thinking a little bit about our water here. And again, this doesn't have to be water unless you want it to be. I'm gonna get a little bit, so if it is water, you're gonna wanna get a little bit darker across the shore here where it's, but not a hard edge, not like an outline, but just a little bit of a shaded area here. So I'm pressing a little bit to create that. And then maybe there's some rocks here, and you can just get those in if you want to. Something like that. Or you can just leave it really simple. That's okay too. If you're like me, you get ideas as you're going along when you're working on a drawing, because at this point, this could go lots of different directions. I can always adjust things too as I'm working here. Okay. Just think about. So the water, if it's really still water, then you can just very lightly work with the side of your pencil to kind of create some shadows here from the shoreline. If it's more of a rapid moving river, it's going to be a little bit different. You can kind of make some wave-like marks. So I'm just going to keep mine sort of a still, little quiet body of water here. You could put a couple little ducks out here if you wanted to. That'd be cute. Oh dear. Okay. All right, so maybe I think we're kind of ready to get some trees in here. And I lost my mark where the trees were going to go. So I'm thinking that here I want to really accentuate the idea or the feeling of distance. So I'm going to be placing some trees in this little body of land here. And the higher you put them, the farther they're going to appear to be away, right? So maybe there's a tree right here, just poking out a little bit. And I'm starting with the trunk. Okay, so there's one in the distance. And I'm going to add the branches in a sec.
Can you hold that up a little closer?
Oh, I know, it's hard to see.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. And so I'm going to do another one, maybe right about here.
Oh,
And that one's going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to be fatter. The trunk's going to be thicker and fatter. And then if I want another tree, I kind of want to change the distance between the trees so that they're not all, what's the right word? They're not all the same. The distance between them, they're a little bit intermittent. Did I say that right? Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to scoot one over here. So there's another tree, and that's going to be a little fatter tree. Okay. Made it a little bit too thick, but that's okay. So if these are birch trees way back here, it's going to be a different story. But we can make them birch trees. I'll tell you what, I'll make these birch trees so that you can see how to do them. Okay? So those are those trees in the distance that I've got set up, and I can always add more if I want to. There may be another little guy back here. I'd hardly be able to see them. They're so far away. And they don't all have to be straight up and down either, do they? So we can change that. So let's just take care of these right now. If these are going to be birch trees, I need to use my little eraser and go in between the lines that I've drawn here for the trunk and just pull that up and pull some of this pencil here. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing here. That's why I like these little erasers, because they can just do that work for you. And so here we could say there's a little birch tree in the distance. Okay. And I'm going to bring that right up. And then when we shade a birch tree, we want to think about kind of like I would use the word a smiley face, because they have those beautiful bark, but my lines aren't going to go straight. They're going to have a bit of a curve to them. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm going to work on that curve here. And again, these are pretty far away, so I'm not going to get too detailed with them. I want to add some branches to this. I usually start right from the trunk and just bring my line up. And of course, they're so far away, we're not going to see too much thickness to them at this point. So they're just little, fine little branches in the distance. Where things join together, you're going to have some shading, put a shadow where things are joined, but you can keep it very simple for these trees. Okay. And I smeared mine because of my hand. That's another good thing about these erasers, because they can get rid of that for you. So I'm going to do the same thing here. This one is a little bit smaller, but not too much. So you can kind of see here where the light against dark of the background that's surrounding the tree is what's making it pop, just like I showed you in that other photograph that I had. So the dark background helps us to be able to see the tree. Same thing for this one, but again, I'm not going to see too much detail here, just very lightly. I'm just kind of sketching with my pencil, getting some branches in, I love it right now, and although, it's getting cold and everything, but you can really, really see the trees and how they're made, and you can see the branches. So many different shapes and sizes, I would say. Kind of cool. Okay, so if you didn't want to make birch trees back here, you could make pine trees, and that would be cool. You can make it however you want. Okay, so this is pretty far away. Okay, and then maybe there's A little bit of grass around this tree. I think the light is coming from here. So this side is going to be a little bit lighter. Always do a bit of erasing. All right. It is a little fuzzy, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking on the internet here to see if I can find anything. 'Cause it's driving me crazy.
Mhm.
Got 15 minutes.
So there would be a bit of a reflection here in the body of water from these trees. And I'm just moving my pencil horizontally to sort of capture that a little, but I'm keeping it really very soft. Very soft. Okay. And here, thinking this area here is like a grassy area. And so these marks that I've made are going over where the water is. So that also helps create a bit more depth. And they don't all have to go in the same direction. Some can go to the left and some can go to the right, and can kind of have fun making those marks. If you get too many like I have, you can always erase them, right? Van Gogh would be making lots of curvy marks. Let's look back at Van Gogh. Yeah, it's awesome. And his paintings were like that, right? Or they are like that, where he's really just utilizing his brush strokes, and his pencil marks just are the same way. Very cool. Okay. So it's fun to just, once you have the bones of your drawing organized, you can always just go back and lighten areas, darken areas, look at it and see what does it need or what is it calling for. Because once we've started a painting or a drawing, we want to begin to respond to the piece that you've been creating, right? And this is where I would want to adjust if I need to. And maybe there's a bit of light bouncing across this area here, and I can kind of use my eraser to reestablish a little bit of light if I need to. Or darken an area if I need to. Oops, this needs to be darker. Kind of lost that tree back there, so I'll figure that out. Adjust it a bit. Well, it's fun to do. It's relaxing to draw, really, at least it is for me. I want to keep thinking about where along the shoreline here it would be a little bit darker. So I just keep going back and adding shadows where I think I need to. And maybe there are grasses back here, but we wouldn't see them too much, would we? I'm kind of popping my hand around here. And the sky can be, just leave it. If you want to do some clouds in the sky, I would say to think about your shapes that you would have for the clouds and leave them lighter and then shade around them. Okay, if you want to. Shade very lightly around them. And I'm just making some, we call these organic shapes. You don't usually see geometric shapes in the sky. Maybe you do sometimes, but. And then you can blend it with your blending tool, or you can certainly leave it. But you just don't want to get it too dark unless it's nighttime, or a sunset would be completely a little different to draw. That'd be very fun to draw it in a pencil. So I like these blending tools, and they actually come in different sizes, and they're really nice to have. Okay, how are we on time?
You have 9 minutes.
Okay. So I'll probably keep working on this drawing when I get home. And you might as well. A lot of artists, well, I would say many artists, do what they call a value sketch. They call it a thumbnail sketch. Something like this before they even do their painting. So they create a roadmap, so to speak, of value, so they know where their lights and darks are. And it really makes it a lot easier once you go into the painting process. So just an idea. They can be small. They don't have to be a big finished drawing, but they can be relatively small. And kind of lost again my birches back here. I'll kind of work on those a little bit more. Right, Tom?
It's okay.
Well,
I mean, they need a little more detail, maybe.
Yeah.
Not much.
a little bit more. Anyway. I'll just keep drawing and I'll forget you guys are all there and I'll just keep drawing. We're really glad you're all here, and we'll take a minute and you guys can show us what you've done today if you'd like. When I'm done, I generally use my eraser to clean it up a bit. Okay, and then I also, like I said, I go in and create some highlights if I've lost them, some lights and darks in there. Okay. I said I was going to do a tree here, but I didn't get to it. So you could put a tree here if you want to. Could make a tree right here. I guess I could do it real quick. We have time, right?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm just creating that tree. And I want to, I could make this a birch too. I think I will. So I'm just erasing in the middle of the tree. So Tom's gonna call on you if you'd like to share your work with us. We'd love it. And as Larry mentioned, there's lots of really great things going on here at the Art Center. And we'd love to have you come back anytime, take a class. There's classes for children and adults. There's all kinds of things going on. So check the website out. And
Hi, Rose. Would you like to show us your work today?
Yes, I would.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, I turned the volume back on because wow, really nice.
super nice,
What's
Rose
his name?
Pratana.
Thank you.
Pratana, how about you? Little close, there we
Oh,
go.
wow.
Nice,
Nice.
very good.
Mhm.
Cynthia?
Aw,
Raise it, there you go. Thank you, very nice.
it's good to see you, Cynthia.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
We missed you.
Lynn, how are you doing?
Wow.
All right,
You really
nice.
captured the depth and the movement through the picture, Lynn. Very nice.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, try that and do it as a painting.
Okay, Susan, your turn.
Nice.
All right,
Lovely.
nice.
Beautiful.
The first time I've ever drawn.
No way.
No
Wow.
way, that's really
She's kidding
good.
us. She's pulling our legs.
Carissa, how about you? Do you have something to show? Hit unmute. There you go.
Carissa.
You have something to show?
How do you? Am I doing this right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh,
Very nice.
Very,
Very nice.
very nice.
Thank you.
Yay.
Patricia, it's your turn.
Oh.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. Wait, a lot of times all of us are a little bit shy about using our darks. So, if you get too dark, remember you can always lighten it up with your eraser. So don't be afraid to really get some nice values happening.
Anne, do you guys have something for us?
Thank you, Cynthia.
All right, very nice.
Good.
and Margaret.
And Margaret, okay,
Nice, Margaret.
that's really nice. Do a little more shading.
Mhm.
Yeah, she didn't get here till half of the shading was done.
Okay.
Oh. Well, you can work on it on your own.
Hey, hi Grace, how about you?
Great.
Nice, nice pine trees.
Very nice.
I love it. The depth.
Awesome.
Karen, do you have something to show us today? No? Okay,
Anybody else?
anybody else?
We had 13 people.
We had, Larry, do you have any final words to say for today?
I was just very impressed with all the people's work today. It was really amazing drawing. And time flies when we're drawing, doesn't it? That's what's one of the fascinating things, isn't it, Tom?
Yes, it goes
Mary
by
Leah.
very fast.
Beautiful work, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for the class.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. And then next week we'll be on Mondays for
Pumpkins.
watercolor pumpkins.
Great.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Nice to
Bye.
see you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Carissa.
And Karen. Nice Karen. She said
Thanks,
hi.
Karen.
Nice.
Nice job, Mary Lee. It was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Larry. It was fun.
Yes. Take care, guys. Thanks for
Yeah,
everything.
you guys take care too.
Yep,
Enjoy it. It's
enjoy.
snowing here. I hope you know that.
I heard a rumor. I don't know if I'm coming back.
Aw.
All right, we'll see you.
All
Bye
right.
now.
Take care, guys.
Yep, bye.
Bye-bye.